is because of the video purpose, we try to do the we try to capture the video um, faster. We don't cover um, the progress menu, so we cut short the video to fit in 3 minutes video. So you don't see a lot of option. For example, the formatting might take at least uh, 10 minutes, but for the video purpose and the training purpose, we just quickly, the video doesn't contain the complete 10 minutes portion, so it is just, it stays for a while and then the video is completed soon. So don't worry if you don't exactly follow the exact timing given in the video. So after formatting, it proceed to the installation setup, where you see this progress menu, which also takes at least in my experience, it takes like 30 minutes to completely finish this procedure. And also make sure you keep an eye on it, because sometimes there can be some error dialog box appearing, which means that the installation is not going well. So for, as I mentioned before, you see that the installation completed just in few few seconds, but in case of a real installation, it is going to take a while. Then after that, it does the bootloader by installing the other packages and does the post installation. As you see, it installed the eStation software during the post installation of the Mesa station. So once it is done, it automatically um, pop up to the the yeah, it opens the screen directly, so you don't need to again start the PC. So once the installation is completed, it directly go to the PC to um, desktop. So that is what it's going to be shown here. It loads the CentOS, and then you see the window. Yeah. So once you, after the installation, when you see this kind of window with the eStation admin user and eStation analyst, which already means maybe your installation is fine. So in some cases, if the installation is not complete, or if it is not installed properly, you don't really see this particular screen with the username. So if you don't see the username, which means it's already, the installation is not good. So be careful when you do the installation, and if you have some problem, it is better to do the installation again. So this is what the important step. So once you are there, try to enter as admin user in order to do the other checks. So in this video, we just saw how to do the installation procedure. So if you have some doubts, of course, I'm going to um, respond to you now. So is it anything with unstable? Okay, the questions are not really related to the session itself. So anybody have some doubts on this installation procedure? And of course, also, if you have some doubts on the pre-installation procedure, just raise your voice. If not, I will proceed with the post-installation procedure. So as I mentioned before, for the video purpose, we made it very short, but it is going to take at least an hour to fully complete the installation. And also make sure that you don't see any kind of error message when the installation is going on, because it is not a good sign if you see any error. And please, can we help us? Okay, I guess again related to, regarding the UPS, yeah, if it is something related to the installation, because of course UPS is the important component which you have to check before the installation, as I mentioned in the pre-installation procedure. And if it is a problem with just the problem with the UPS on the battery or something, we are going to discuss about that this afternoon in the troubleshooting. So if it is not related to the UPS and the installation, then maybe we can discuss about it in the afternoon session. So if it is related to the installation, please, yeah. Last time I power surge and the UPS stopped working. What should I do? Yeah, okay. This is, yeah, something related to the hardware issue. So we already put the APC manual. So since it is not related to the installation, I will take your point, I will take your question, and then maybe we address it during our troubleshooting session, because in the troubleshooting session we are going to describe about the UPS, where how you can restart, how to reset the UPS. So maybe we can discuss about that. Do we have the ISO for the eStation 2.2? Our PC did not upgrade recently. Okay, yeah. This is if you already have the Mesa station working on the PC2, you don't need to completely reinstall from the scratch. You just need to install the update. So that one we will see during the part on upgrading the eStation. So now we are seeing about the installation of Mesa station. So this is something specific with the eStation software itself. So eStation software is comes as an update. So that one we will be discussed again. So our eStation is not transmitting any data. All the services are down. So what might be the problem? Okay. So again, this is also going to be dealt in the troubleshooting. So yeah, regarding the updates, yeah, we also heard from Viola stating that there was a lot of problems in the automatic update of the eStation software. So this one is going to be the last topic in this session. So automatic upgrade mechanism. So we are going to see during that session. So I will explain you in that part. So if you don't have any doubts on the installation itself, I will go to the post installation check. And regarding the updates, I'm going to uh, discuss in this um, session on automatic upgrade mechanism, where the eStation software comes as an update through UMatcast, which will arrive in the PC1, and then which is then moved to the PC2 and PC3, from where you will install the update. So I of course know that in most of the Mesa station you don't receive this update. So we can have a discussion about that in the next topic. So for now, I will proceed with the post installation check. So once you install, what you have to do immediately to check if your installation is fine. So the first and foremost thing is to check the log files. Uh, yeah, after the installation. So in order to check the log files, yeah, so you just open the terminal command. So already in the session 1.4, I explained you how to open these tools on the terminal. So um, you can have a look if you want, if you don't have idea how to open this terminal session. And also I believe as IT experts, you might already knew about this. So once you open the terminal session, it is important to navigate to this var log files, where all the installation log files are available. So this is the installation log files folder. So immediately after the installation, you can go to this folder and then have a look if you have any error. So there is also the log file as well as the error log file. So if you see some error log like this, it is better to have a check, because this is the post installation error log. So it says that there is something already written in this file. So we are going to see what is that. So uh, since we wanted to show you one of the installation with some minute error, we prepared this particular thing. Uh, so yeah, we will see in some cases you don't see any error. So you see that there is no error in this particular error log. So that is going to be dealt here. So the important thing is you go to this location, which is var log station2, and then navigate to any of these log file. When you see the size of the log file is big, you can tail off and then check the content. So in this layer, it is some random problem. So you can yeah, generally some of the problems, this is something related to the DB, because some of the things are not updated in the DB session. So that will be also described here.
Yes, so if I can intervene, in the previous file, you have seen that there are some warning messages. So you know that normally in the log files you put both errors and warning. Warning is not normally really an issue. So if you do the installation and you see here this the same type of messages, means that the installation is okay. This installation then we tested completely and everything is okay. So sometime also in the logging, there is something which is not really precise, and you might see this type of warning, but this does not mean that the installation is faulty. If you see something really blocking, you will see error, and then also maybe a message that is a critical error, and it does stop the installation itself.
Yeah, thank you, Marco. Yeah, so I forgot to mention about the warning. So if you see some warnings, you don't need to worry much, because there can be some warning, but it is important to note that there is no error in the log file. So if you check for, you can have a look at all the things. So you can check the application post install error, and you see there is error with the connection DB, which is again kind of a warning. So but make sure that you don't see any very big error. So if generally you wouldn't see anything in these log files if your installation went fine. If you have something wrong, please let us know. We could also guide you when you see these kind of errors. So here it is mostly on the database connection. So this is how you can navigate and check if your installation went well. So make sure that you don't see an error log file, but the warning is fine. Or maybe try to check if the warning is the healthy one or not. So this also gives you an idea if your installation went well or not. So as an initial step, immediately after the installation, is to check the log file. Then after checking the log file, I see some questions. Let's see if someone has some doubt. Can I do if the hard disk of PC3 dies? Yeah, okay, this is you follow the same stuff. So here we consider PC2 as a faulty hard disk, so we try to replace the hard disk and then try to reinstall. But in case of hard disk PC3, we have to check if both the hard disk is um, died, and then we try to replace them and then do the same installation procedure in PC3 instead of PC2. So this is going to be also similar steps. Yeah. Yeah. Tulane. Yeah.
Yeah, so Vijay, maybe I can take this question from the user on the Mozilla, so I think Firefox browser. So if the Firefox does not work itself, does not open the Firefox, it might be a problem we've seen in the past that at a given point, the original version of the Firefox provided in 2016 for the installation became obsolete. So we prepared a patch for that in order to update easily the Firefox browser, and now I will find it out and provide the link. Maybe we can also go to this patch to see. So basically, it's just a single file you have to run on your computer in order to upgrade locally the version of Firefox. This is if the problem is that one, so that it doesn't really open the browser, that could be the reason. Otherwise, but I think it's that one. Otherwise, if he does open but does not go to localhost, it can be Apache, and we treat that in the troubleshooting in the afternoon. So I will look for this patch and the link to that in order to present it. Maybe Vijay, I will pass you the link to.
Okay, yeah. So and also I guess I have the private message from Tilane mentioning about the installation ask for some other BIOS password, because this one I guess in their Mesa station they face this issue, but I guess in general, because recently I tried to install our Mesa station and it didn't ask us for that particular password. So I guess that is also specific when you try to open the BIOS setting and then try to boot from there. So in the normal Mesa station, I don't think it will ask you to do the installation, because the installation directly goes to the screen which you saw, from where you can directly select which kind of PC you want to install and which language you want to install. So this one, it is, since it is not a default um, configuration, we didn't discuss about that, or the video doesn't contain giving the root password of the BIOS setting. So but for sure, since you mentioned, we will try to capture this video separately, and if someone face this problem in inserting the BIOS root password, then we will send them yeah, we'll send them the video separately. So this is up to, yeah, yeah, okay, thank you. And this flash course, please, yeah, okay, yeah, of course we will. So if you don't have any other doubts, I'm going to setting up the theme. So immediately once you check the files, once you check if you don't have any error in the log file, then the another important step is to set the theme. So that is what we are going to see here. So if once you find out the installation went well without any problem in the log file, when you open the dashboard, you will see that the processing is stopped. So this one is because it tries to get some of the data and then to do the processing, but since the thema is not set, it cannot really identify the input data. So this is how you see only in this case PC2. Forget about the PC1, because in our case the DVB is not working. So the PC2, you see something like this where the processing is stopped. So which means that you have to set your thema. That is a first and foremost step you have to do immediately after the installation. So you go to the system tab, and then there you see the thema column is empty. So you have to check what is your relevant thema, and then click on the modify and then choose it. So in our case, we selected JRC because we wanted to have all the data in our reference machine, in the reference Mesa station. So we selected Joint Research Center as the thema, but make sure that you select the consortia or the thema which is relevant to you. So once you set the thema, you just click on OK, which is over there. Once you save it, you already set the thema, and the data and the products associated to this particular thema is available in the upcoming um, video, which is in the acquisition tab and the processing tab. So make sure you select the proper thema, because if you select it wrongly, you don't have an option to modify it. So
Be careful when you select the theme. You are not supposed to select the JRC theme, but the one which is relevant to you. So once you do that, when you open the acquisition tab and refresh it, make sure you refresh things, because sometimes people don't see don't see the categories or the products, because they you have to refresh it at the initial step after setting the theme. So after you set the theme, you see all the products, of course, empty. And also in the processing, you can refresh and see all the processing stuff. And make sure you start the processing, because this one, immediately after the installation, it is stopped. So you have to start it. So in the data management also, once you after setting the theme, you see all the products available. Of course, since you just install it, you don't see any products available within the data management tab. So this is the step which you have to follow immediately after the installation. So once you're done with that, you can go to the next step, which is to put back the Mesa station in the normal mode, because you know that before installing the PC2, we we put all the Mesa station, that is PC2, PC1 and 3, in the recovery mode. So now you have to put back the PC3, PC2 in the nominal mode. So this is the another important step which will be shown here how to do that. So another important thing is you have to log in as root in the PC3. So in order to do the failover, it is important that you log in as root, and then go to the system, and then failover, and then failback. So I hope it is clear here. But okay, you can, when you want to do that, you can always pause the video and have a look what we did, because it is in the very top corner. So maybe for someone it is not clear. So you click on the system, Mesa Puma, failover, and the failback. So you launch that one, and immediately after launching, you don't see anything in the root, but you will see in the admin user once you switch on to the admin user. So log out of this session or switch user, and then try to log in as admin user. So once you enter there, you have to be sure that you connect the PC2 in the LAN. So if you don't really connect the PC2 to the LAN cable, you get this kind of message that the PC2 is not reachable. So make sure that you connect the PC2 to the LAN cable. So when you connect it properly after selecting from the root user, and when you switch to the admin user, you see this kind of message which asks you which PC is back, so which PC is rectified. So you select PC2, since we took the case study that our PC2 is faulty, so we wanted to install. So now you select the PC2 which is in a good condition now after the installation, and then do the run. Yeah. So it asks you whether are you sure to configure all the PCs. So once you confirm it, it asks for the root password. So once you give the root password, it tries to put all the Mesa station in the nominal mode, which is putting them in the normal configuration. Make sure that this takes several hours, because it it has to copy. In this case, PC2 was completely reinstalled, so it also has to copy the data from PC3 to PC2. So it is going to take several hours, maybe also days, if there is more data. So in our case, we found that it took like 2-3 days in order to copy the data from PC3 to PC2. We have a archive of a lot of data, so it took us like more than 3 days in order to copy back all the files. So till then you have to wait. So this is the main functionality of failback. It also copies the configuration as well as the data back to PC2, which is just rectified and installed. Yeah. I hope it is clear. So it is just you bring back all the PC to the normal condition. I hope there is some questions. Okay. So for the previous problem with the Firefox, there was
Yeah, good. So I think now we can, before move to the next session, we can try and answer some of the requests from the participants. Thanks a lot for these questions you're raising. So about Firefox, I was mentioning this issue, and then we will just explain what we do. You see something we found out in December 2017, several years ago. So what happens is that if the station is completely standalone, is not connected to the internet, you don't see any problem, because the problem is that when the Firefox, you connect the system on the internet, you run Firefox, it does access the website of the server of Firefox, and they disable it because they say this version is too old, and since then cannot be opened anymore on the computer. So it can happen that it's been working in 2018-19, then maybe you connect the station to the internet and this version is disabled. Now Vijay is going to explain what you do, because at that time in December 2017, after the indication of the people of University of Ghana and some other user, we prepared this patch, and now Vijay is going to explain how do you manage it.
Yeah. So, but this one we see now as a continuation of the installation, or we see during the troubleshooting? Okay, I assume it's not.
It's to go back now, Vijay. We do a quick break on these things. It's good to answer the question when we receive them. So yeah, we can spend now some time on these questions, I think.
Okay, so yeah, Mozilla browser and dashboard. Okay, we already addressed that one. The upgrade effect. Any possibility to upgrade the Gentoo OS to 7? No, that is not going to be possible, because yeah, we have, of course, we are happy to upgrade it so that we have the latest version of all the packages. But since we wanted, in most of the Mesa station, we already installed the 6.6. I don't think we are going to upgrade the CentOS to 7. And it is important that you shouldn't also update, because it is going to ruin the system completely. So that is the answer for this question, because it is not, yeah, there is a lot of dependency issue for upgrading, and yeah, in all the Mesa station it is going to be CentOS 6.6, and the software upgrade is going to be also compliant with 6.6. Since if you want to change to 7, you have to really do the massive upgrade of a lot of packages, completely different stuff. So I don't think we are going to do that, at least right now. So I guess, Marco, do you want to add something on this one, on the upgrade of the CentOS package, CentOS OS itself?
Indeed, something we consider, especially for the new stations that are now going to be delivered, because CentOS 6.6 is old indeed. But we decided not to go for that because cannot be done easily, as Vijay explained, mainly for two reasons. One is all the dependencies. So the station is not only the software we implemented in Python and XJS that could be moved to another operating system without many issues. So it is still Python 2.7. But it's also working with GDAL, with map server, so the libraries or dependencies used to do image processing and image visualization. So moving to CentOS 7 would mean changing all these dependencies. And you know that GDAL is depending on other libraries for the file formats, HDF, for 5netCDF, and so on. So it's a big effort in order to put together all these packages. Cannot be done easily. Should update the CentOS. And second reason is that, as you have seen already in the presentations, there is integration of the command for going to recovery mode to change the IP addresses and so on into the CentOS menu. So you on the top left actually of the screen, when you log into the station, you see the tools of system and the telespazio scripts in order to do some operation like monitoring the services, changing the IPs, going to recovery mode, going back to the nominal mode, and so on. All this has been integrated. And we've been told by Telespazio technician that the integration in CentOS 7 is different, is pretty different than in CentOS 6. So there's at least two good reasons why you shouldn't absolutely do the upgrade to CentOS 7 and why we are not going to do ourselves even for the new stations. But this is indeed a very good question.
Yeah, thank you, Marco, for explaining. And I saw some user ask about the setting the theme on Marine. So maybe I just show them. Yeah, it is. We don't have an option just to say if it is CentOS, sorry, if it is Marine, but in specific with the institution. So we can go and see. Yeah. So you see that there is University of Ghana, all the consortia more or less, which you have to select. So if you want to select the marine products, it is mostly the Mauritius Oceanographic Institute, but it covers only the Indian Ocean part. So if you are if you want to select, make sure that if you already have the MESA station, you before doing the installation, just check that what theme you already have, because of course we have a record of which institution has which theme, but it's better you keep track of that, or write us to know which theme you have to select. If you choose a wrong theme, it is going to be additional work to remove it and remove the data and then do things again. So make sure that you already see what theme is set, because it is already informed for the institutions, and if you choose it wrongly, then it is a big work to be set. So there is no common thing for some marine theme, because depending on the area of coverage and area of and the products, we have the selected themas available here. So this is how the thema works. I hope it clears the doubt. So you can check it there before you do the installation to select the same thema, not to change or not to have a different thema. Yeah. Okay. If you don't have any other doubts, maybe I proceed with.
If I can intervene on Andrew's question, I think he was saying that he does need archive for the marine theme, because I think the question was the continuation of the previous one.
Okay, sorry, because I just saw marine theme, so since I was.
So it's very more difficult for you to follow also the chat.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the installation of the historical archives is something that normally you do at the end of the installation of the software. But it really depends on the status of the overall MESA station. If in this case you have a PC3 which has been working fine for all the time, Then, as display as just presented now, when you exit the recovery mode, you push the data back from PC3 to PC2, and it does take a long time. If it is an installation from scratch, for instance, or you have to install a PC2 and PC3 because both of them were faulty, so you don't have the data anywhere. Yeah, so you need to have a disk with all the historical archives on that. So there is a website, an FTP server, basically, not a website, where we store 400 gigabyte of data, which is the archives we have at GRC, so covering all the themas, all the products, all the data sets over the largest area we have available. So I think there are two options in these cases. You can download, we can maybe present it, Vijay, go to this point. So there is a presentation displaying how to deal with the historical archives. Basically, you download it on this FTP, which is a server. You download it locally to a disk. Then you connect this disk to the computer and you run a service on the computer. And this is what Vijay is now going to present to this video. So this is going the procedure in order to do the ingest, and then we can show you how do you get these historical archives. So please, Vijay, you can go through this.
So
beginning, because it is very, very important, the initial message on the logging in as analyst. So
so the important thing is, in order to do the install of historical archive, you have to log in as a thematic user. So to do each functionality, you have to strictly follow the convention that of the user. So in order to do specific things, you have to be a root, and to follow some specific things, you have to do the admin user. So in order to install the historical archive, you log in as a thematic user, and the password is available in the introduction slide, so you can have a look. It is Mesa 2015. So once you log in, you can insert the hard disk with the historical archive. As Marco mentioned, we will also show maybe later how to get this historical archive from our SFTP server. We already, you plug it in the SS, which is the USB 3.0, and once you have the hard disk inserted, go to the file where you have these archives. So once you have these historical archives, then it is going to be easier to ingest and have it in the e-station. It is also applicable when you newly install the PCs. You can also use this approach to have the data. So it is also useful for the people who are going to have the new Mesa station. You have to download this archive and then ingest it. So that is what we are going to show here. So once you log in and have the data, so go to the media here in the terminal. So go to the media, Mesa 1. Mesa 1 is your hard drive, so it can be, of course, with a different name in your case. And then the archive is the folder where you have this list of data. So we already checked that where the data is. So go there and then go to the dashboard of the eStation software and go to the system tab. So in the system tab, there is already uh, option where you have to describe the archive. So here in the directory paths, you will find the archive. So in the archive, you have to give the location where you saved your archive. So in this case, it is going to be the hard disk, which is Mesa 1. Name of the hard disk is Mesa 1, and then the folder is archive where you have the list of data. So once you point it there, yeah, update it if it is different, and then yeah, save it again, and then start the ingestion. So you click on the ingest archive button and then do the ingestion. So this is going to take some hours again in order to fill the data in your e-station. Of course, if you want to check the log file, it is better you always check the log file if everything is working fine or not. So it goes to the loop and then start to ingest the data from the archive product by product. So this is how it is going to work. So this is a very simple procedure to ingest the historical archive when you have the archive in the separate disk. So again, I repeat, so this procedure is very useful for the people who are going to have the new Mesa station, because once you have the Mesa station, you're not going to have the very old historical data. So you can go to our FTP server where we have the historical archives and then copy it in the hard disk and then follow this procedure in order to have the data in your Mesa station. So if you don't have doubts, I will proceed with the next steps, or I can explain you if you have some doubts. So I don't think you have some doubts, but of course, yeah, these videos are going to be available in our YouTube channel as well as in the DLP platform. So yeah, in the DLP platform, yeah, maybe I didn't update this part, so I will also update the ingestion of historical archives, so you will have also in the DLP at the end of this session. So if this is clear, then we can move to the topic on automatic upgrade mechanism. So this
Jay,
one, yeah,
sorry to slow down your presentation. I just
yeah,
want
no problem.
to indicate where the data are, where the historical archives are. They
Yeah,
are
okay,
server. I just double check that the link, I mean the URL is not there in the introduction. We provide only our SFTP, so we will complement this information.
okay,
So basically there is these externals. It's not a GRC server, it's an external by a commercial provider. And
yeah,
we will provide you the credential in order to go there. I will now enter them into the
yeah,
introduction. Exactly.
yeah.
They,
So here, yeah, I will also just give the name and then later on you can add the URL here.
yeah.
So historical. So we will give the credential here of the historical archive so that you can go download it in your hard disk and then follow the procedure following this video so that you can ingest the historical archive. So make sure that you log in as a thematic user to do this particular thing. Otherwise, you won't be successful in doing that. So this is about the
Remark is, and if you need marine data, maybe as you have seen in the video, under this archive directory, then the files are organized in subdirectories, which indicates the name of a product. So you can go there and download only the data set. So here is the list of the data sets. So there are for vegetation, precipitation, and rain.
yeah.
Indeed, I last time I did it last week was 400 giga everything. In order to speed it up, you can select exactly what you need. So if you are not in need of vegetation product, the final one, DMP, FA part, cover, and so on, just limit your download to MODIS, chlorophyll, and SST, what you basically need. Because normally when we do the installation, we have full archive, all products, but in your case, just limit to the product you know are of interest for the user there. So you can reduce the time and the effort. When you do, so the procedure is important. You install the station, you set the theme, then you activate on the station some products only, some categories and some products for some regions. So some coverage, Western Africa, Indian Ocean, University of Ghana has this marine area for the Atlantic Ocean and so on. So you set it and then you do the ingestion of historical archives. At this point, the system checks the products you are interested in and the regions of interest. And this ingestion is not a simple copy, it's really a sub-selection of the products with respect to what you have on the disk, and also clipping them over your area of interest. So that's what it happens in this segment. So it's important also to follow the sequence exactly. So you have to set the theme before, or check that the theme is set, and then launch the ingestion of historical archives. Otherwise, that is not possible because you don't have the correct products set on your system. And also remember that the theme, normally you should never change it. The theme, you set it once for all, and then it's that. If you change it, you have a mixed time series of products over different areas. So this would be really a mess. The products available are what we present in the product. Maybe you can open this document. New ones, okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure that the product report we present is fully up to date. One thing you can do is to go to our online version, for instance, and check there what is available. Yeah, so BJ can also maybe go to the browser there. In the documentation, you see the product report. Okay. Yeah, the station are updated. So the online version, we update it as often as we can. Also for the products you see. The updates on the Mesa station on the field, it happens every 6 months, 1 year, when we disseminate a new update. And now we are waiting for releasing the latest one, because of this issue with the transition of vegetation products from ProbaV to Sentinel-3. So this, as I said yesterday, is going to come at the end of this year, beginning of 2021. So indeed, the online version is more frequently updated. You can go to the online version and look at this product description. But also, I have to be frank, we do not update this document every month. So the safest is if you go to the client, station client on the online version, and you look there at the list of available products. Because, yeah, BJ, you go to the web client, and then if you open the product navigator there, you open, okay, by default it does open given workspace, but if you open the product navigator, you see there the full list of products, and also for the marine component, you have basically chlorophyll from Sentinel-3 and OLCI instrument, and sea surface temperature from the SL-STR instrument.
Yeah.
I think Simone is also replying to you. It's fine, Andrew? Okay. It is not available on the station. because double check what release do you have of the software. If you go to the system tab, you will see the what is the version. Maybe it's not. And you can also intervene by voice if you prefer now to clarify. Okay, well, now for Sentinel-3 marine products, we have these.
Hello, Marco, can you hear me?
Yeah, and you?
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem at all.
Well, I was saying, are these the Sentinel-3 products available on the e-station upgrade?
Yeah, indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah. So depending on the version you might have installed, they might not appear because you know we continue creating new products and updating the list of the products. So maybe what you have installed, you can also double check and send an email to me, or also here in the chat with the version you currently have. The latest one will have these Sentinel-3 marine products for sure, because they were also in the 2.2.1. So they are going to be continued in the 2.2.2, obviously. And Simona, I think you were speaking about the setting of the.
Fantastic, Marco. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Vijay, before you move to session 3, there was a question on the BIOS before. So normally you don't have to modify it, but in some specific cases you might need to access it, and the password is open on root. We will write it down also again in the list of password, the BIOS password. But I think Viola wanted to comment on it as well. Viola from ICPAC.
Yeah. Thank you, Marco. So as Marco has said, most of the time you will not need to use it. But what we have found is that sometimes, especially if it's the first time you are trying to do a reinstallation using a USB, for some of the computers, the boot from USB was not activated. And so we needed the BIOS password in order for us to be able to activate it, to allow us to install from the USB. Yeah, but then the password is open on root, as Marco has already mentioned. So that's it on the BIOS password. I also want to just a small intervention. So we've had a lot of talks about PC1, PC2, and PC3. And yesterday when we were looking at the UPS, we saw that you're supposed to plug certain pieces in certain spots. And this reminded me of a situation where the IT reported that the system was not working, but then when we went to realize that the connections had not been done properly. But the point I wanted to stress is that especially on the standard Mesa installations, every piece of equipment is labeled. So if you look at the screen, you will see it's PC1, or if you look at the UPS, there's a label on it as well. If you look at the cables are labeled on it as well. So it's not a major issue, but it will help you when you're doing the setup, so that you know that this cable is coming from PC1 and therefore should go onto this lot of the UPS. So it's just a minor note, but every piece of equipment is labeled. And if it's not a standard installation, when you're doing your installation as well, it's very advisable for you to label your equipment as well. So that you know this is PC1 and this is PC2, or this is PC3. So that was my intervention.
Yeah, thanks Viola for mentioning it. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Viola. That's very, very important what you say. I see another question. I think I would suggest, Vijay, that we continue a bit this discussion, then we break and we go for the session 3 after the break. How about if I want to change the password, Hamed? What do you mean exactly? Which password? BIOS password or one of the other passwords?
I guess the eStation admin user or thematic user maybe.
Yeah, I mean, these are defined at the level of CentOS, so you can change them indeed, and it will well actually require that you admin or analyst. Okay. Are you asking for the procedure to do so, or what happens if you do so? The procedure actually we have to double check. Depends on the operating system. It's just really a CentOS login password. So I've never done it really because we keep the default ones. I think there is no any issue. I don't see any side effect. It can make sense indeed. However, it's not really secure to keep the default password as you probably are also arguing because it is the same on every PC, so it's not really a secure password. So
yeah. So yeah, I guess we could find the answer just by googling menu application utility terminal then. Yeah, but it is recommended to change the password, Marco, because will it affect in any other place or it shouldn't be a problem? Because it's specific with the user, I guess we could do the change. So in order to change the root password, yeah, I found list of these options to do it. So if you want to do, I guess
no,
you can do.
is referring to admin or analyst. They are login password. It does make sense to change them because the default one are not really safe. I mean, is known by everyone. So I let apart the root password, the user password. I think I'm not at the office. I cannot double check on the machine. I will maybe in one of the coming days. But I think that, okay, you will Google and find out how in CentOS 6.6 you do change a user password. And I don't see especially any specific problem in that because for the system functioning is what is really important are the permissions on the disk. So the reason, for instance, why you import historical archives no, I do not recommend to leave the original password. I mean, I say that we never test it because, okay, we did not see the need for that on our station. Now thinking at the problem, I don't think there is an issue in changing the login password. The system will keep working normally. I will double check it by testing one of the coming days when I will be back to the office and let you know. As for the procedure, just Google for it. It's going to be very simple, I think, because in any OS you can change easily the password. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Fine. Can I add something to this, please?
Yeah, sure, Simona.
This is from experience, yeah. Here, for example, we have a default password for something. Doesn't matter what it is. Devices, also software, also this and this and this. And then when the end user has a problem, we ask them, please do that, do that, do that. I don't know what has to be done. I mean, via admin or analyst, you know better. So I understood your willing to change the password. But when it's come to us, for example, I'm not dealing with that. For us, this will deal Marco and his team. We cannot log in because either they do not remember the password And it was something like that also with some devices. They exchange the password, which is, it is a password, yeah, and then they couldn't log into the device anymore. And we are not troubleshooting to get the password back. And the end user was, let's say, he had to buy other devices. It is just this, because the company didn't want to reset or do something. So I'm just telling you, you can arrive, you can land in such situation just to be worried what you want to change. That is my comment. Otherwise, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Simona, for your comment. Yeah, I would also say that unless if it is really important, I guess better not to change the password. Otherwise, yeah, we might have to spend some time when we have to do that or to reset all these things. So, yeah. Okay. So, I guess I could also cover this topic on the automatic upgrade before we go for a break, because I hope it is not late. Can we proceed with this one before we go on a break, so that we complete the session 2, so that we could break and then start with the session 3. So if everyone is fine with it, I just continue, and I guess we can complete it on time. So so far what we saw is how to do the installation manually if there is a problem with any of the PCs. So what we see here, it's actually it's not related to the installation, but the upgrade of the eStation software alone. So it is not really related to any of the Mesa station components. So it is just the eStation software, what you see on the dashboard, and with acquisition, processing, and data management. So we keep on doing developments on that uh, with a list of updates. So we hear from the user in this kind of training to make them use the eStation easily and with a lot of tools which facilitate them to do their work easily. So these kind of updates are made available um, frequently. Yeah, okay, frequently, I guess it's a 6-month times, or in every year we have an update. So that is sent through the UMitcast and made available on the PCs, where you will see the pop-up menu for this particular thing on PC3. So what we do is we prepare this package, and then we send it through the UMitcast, which arrives to the PC1 of your Mesa station, and from there automatically it is copied to both the PC2 and PC3. These are the internal things which is taking place, but you don't really see what is happening. So what you see as a user is when you log in to the when you log into any of the PC, you see the updates are available. So it's better you go to PC3, and then you see it asks for the confirmation whether you wanted to do this update. So this is the exact dialog box what you see. So make sure that you don't cancel it, because if you happen to cancel it, your eStation upgrade is not going to be done. So you should be very careful when you see this kind of message. Make sure that if it is related to the system upgrade of eStation upgrade, please click on OK, so that it gets updated, because this is also something Viola mentioned when we ask about the issues, because in a lot of Mesa station people have issues with this update, because they don't really see this, or I don't know what is the problem, like they don't see it, or by mistake they avoid this and then cancel it, then it won't be available. So this is the mechanism. And if you happen to by mistake, if you cancel it, there is also an option to find these packages
in the data patch and temp. So you can find these files in this particular folder from where you could also manually install. So only if you do by mistake, if you cancel the update, you find it here, and you can also right click on them and then double click on them and install, or you can do it from the command line, which will be also shown in the troubleshooting part, how to do the manual installation of the eStation software update. So again, I repeat, it is related to the eStation software, where the updates are coming through the UMatcast and then made available on all the PCs, and then you get this prompting message which asks you to confirm for the installation of the update. So if you happen to miss it, only if you happen to miss it by mistake, the data is the packages are made available in this folder, where you can go and then manually install one by one. And also this procedure on the manual upgrade of the eStation is will be dealt in the session 3 under the troubleshooting. So if everything is fine, if you click on OK, and if the eStation updates are installed, then you find the repository in this path. So this is how the upgrade mechanism works. So if you have some doubt, you have to answer, because I guess there were some doubts related to this one, because they asked that they couldn't find the update. So you can find, if you know that the updates are already released, because in our eStation in the eStation website, which I mentioned yesterday, there is a frequent news about the new updates and everything. So if you see these kind of updates, let me show you. Okay, you see that on November 2019 we did the update of the version 2.2.0, and you can cross check with your Mesa station if you have 2.2.0. If you don't have it, it means that you either missed this update when it prompt you to install. Maybe you would have canceled it, or for some other reason you avoided it. So then you can always go to this location. Oops, I guess I canceled the screen sharing, so let me share again. Okay, so if you find you don't have the latest version 2.2.0, then you can try to check in this path if your installation is there. So if you find the path, if you find the packages in this, it means that your update is not installed, so you have to manually update, and the manual updation will be dealt in the session 3. So just wait for it and then try to do the update manually. And if you don't also find it in this path or in this path, because of some reason, if you don't don't even have the updates available in your machine, then also that will be dealt in the session 3, where we will explain you where you can go and try to find the latest update available, and then download it in your PC and then install it. So this is how you have to update the eStation software for the Mesa station. So this is all about the installation. So if everything is clear, maybe I could summarize and then go for a break. Or okay, Urian. Yeah, true. Thanks, Urian, for this comment, because before we release this package through UMatcast, we send all the user the notification that the latest update is going to be available in a couple of days. So make sure that when you see this mail from us, be sure whenever you open the eStation, try to check for this kind of message, where you will see the question that you wanted to install the update. So don't skip it, because this is very important for the other components to be updated on the e-station. So it is not just for the software, but we also upgrade the latest products available. So like for marine, as in the previous session they asked some question on the updates of the marine product. So whenever there is the update, not on the software side but also on the document side or on the product side, everything will be sent through this update. So it is very important to do this update in order for the continuous process of the e-station. So make sure you don't miss it. And if you happen to miss it by chance, there is always an option. You could contact us where we will guide you to download the latest updates and then install it in your Mesa station. So this small portion on downloading it will be dealt in the upcoming session. So if it is clear, maybe I quickly summarize what we discussed on the session 2. So after our yesterday's session on the basic overview of the all the Mesa station components, that is PC1, PC2, PC3, we went on with the installation session where we described about how to prepare your installation if there is a problem with your Mesa station, how to prepare the installation, what are the preliminary check you have to do before the installation, and how to prepare the USB with the ISO file, and then how to install it, and then how to do the post installation check on the installation, whether the installation went well, and then how to how to make the Mesa station get back to the normal working condition. Then to also to check if you have a latest version of the e-station software within the Mesa station. So all these things were described in this session too. So if you have some doubt, we can discuss about it. Otherwise, we could break here and then move on to the next session. So anybody have some doubt, or anybody wants to add some additional information on this regarding the updates of the software as well as the installation procedure?
I would like just to come back to this point of the historical archives download. And actually they are on this Aruba server, but I think that also Urian is online. I don't think we have on this server, Urian, a password for the users, the general user. We have a password for the JSC user, but this has too high credential to be shared.
True, yeah.
No, it is not an open FTP server.
Okay.
So we can
just share the screen because I mean, this is was Andrew, I think, interested to that one. This is the SFTP we go to, and then I can look at the contents and the data. Oops. There's these archives directory, and there you have all the products that were copied then to the disk for installation. So the data are there. The only point is that we cannot share this credential with you because they are meant for JRC. So we are now going to in touch with this provider in order to create another password with limited permissions in order to be shared with the user. We are going to find a solution in any case to let you access the data. Fine.
Okay. But Marco, why can't we do it in the SFTP server?
It's maybe space where to double check because at the end is 4 GB. We are going to find the point is taken. We are going to find a solution because these historical archives are mainly meant for the installer. So Telespazio has to download them and will download them for the new stations. The final user, they normally go by using this data sync mechanism. to download.
Yeah.
But if it's huge amount of data, can be long. So downloading the historical archive, especially for an installation from scratch, is a good idea. But just now to figure out a solution in order to allow you going to this FTP or to another.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then we break now for 10 minutes before we proceed to the session 3. Is it fine? Okay, Meshach, you have some comments, or we break now?
No, it's okay with me, Vijay. We can pause
Okay.
here and come back after 10 minutes.